Could AI be as transformative as electricity? This is a future that very few are actually talking about. This photograph was taken a little over 100 years ago this day, right? It's a photograph of a small mining town in Alaska. They had had the gold rush, and so there's about 300 people in the town. The town is Skagway, Alaska, about an hour's drive north of Anchorage. Why, in many ways, this photograph is historical is because the men and women in that photograph, they're seeing an airplane with their own eyes for the first time. Yeah, they had read about a so-called flying machine, perhaps in newspapers. Maybe they read about it in letters from loved ones. What an amazing experience that must have been to see an airplane for the first time. It had not been that long ago that everyone on the planet believed human beings couldn't fly. Several years before this photograph was taken, factory workers in a relatively new factory in Buffalo, New York, assembled that airplane, but they didn't do it alone. See, for years they had been harnessing electricity as a new power source, right? They were trying to harness electricity to make that airplane at scale. It had been out for 20 years since the Wright brothers, but no one had really manufactured it at scale. Those technology workers had to change production methods. They had to change the tech stack, right? To weld with power tools, which were now powered by electricity, to weld and stamp and hoist that airplane, which now weighed 3,000 pounds. No single human being can do that. They had job descriptions changed in the factory. If you actually look at the job descriptions, they actually changed, as tasks changed at the factory, as power tools changed the nature of the workforce. And leaders and managers in that factory had to learn what we now call organizational agility. How do you harness a new technology and integrate it to make things at scale? That's when it gets tough, right? But innovation over the years at the edges. So much so that months later, a new plane left the factory in Buffalo, flew to Chicago, it flew to Seattle, and finally over a small Alaskan mining town, changing the lives of those miners, of those men and women forever. The legacy of those technology workers back home in Buffalo, the legacy was innovation and transformation. They were the IT workers of the day, the most sophisticated building the new technology. And look at the legacy they had. With AI, that can be our legacy too. Dystopian, no. Disruptive, yes, but not dystopian. That's the future I see. AI has the potential to be one of the most transformative technologies in over 100 years.